This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
Hey, this is Mega Ran, teacher, rapper, hero, waffle lover. And you're checking out A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. Turn it up and share.
Previously on Talk Time Live exclusive.
Can you both talk about the idea of how WayForward worked alongside Arc System Works to put this together?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, WayForward, I think kind of one of the things we're known for is kind of reimagining or remaking games. Like, we did the DuckTales remastered. Yeah. We'll do stuff like Centipede or Double Dragon Neon, where we take like an existing brand and kind of put our spin on it. So we're always looking for opportunities like that. And this was, we knew about the Kunio-kun brand and the River City brand for ages. It's, over 30 years old in Japan. And so this was the one that we always had our eye on. And we started kind of doing some biz dev in Japan directly a few years ago and had a meeting with Arc System Works. So we said, hey, here's our idea for this brand. We want to focus on the girls from the Super Famicom game, Masako and Kyoko. Right. And put them on their own adventure, which, having female like lead characters is kind of a very way forward thing. Right. And they really dug it. They liked the pitch and they were on board almost immediately.
Welcome to the show to give you all the news, views, and opinions in the world of gaming. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extras Select Start with your host, Xavier Josiah. Power up and game on.
Gentlemen, welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extra Select Start. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Hope everybody's having a great week. I'm having a great week, but it's the fall. I need this weather to be fall. I need the temperature to fall down back to where I can wear, jackets again. I need jacket weather back. I need robe weather back again. This 80, 90 degree weather right now is getting crazy. It's getting closer to October. Getting closer to the time AEW hits Philadelphia, by the way. Shout out to that. And it's just, I'm tired. This whole entire climate the whole climate thing has been crazy. I don't want to get into all that detail, but I hope everybody else is having a great week. A great week, actually. And before I get anything started, I want to give a big thanks to Adam Tyranny and Bannon Rudis of WayForward for coming on to the show. You heard a clip of that just right now. And I just enjoyed their company. I enjoyed talking with them about the behind the scenes of the great game known as River City Girls. And again, just like I said in that interview, that I came in there expecting a normal beat 'em up, really cool looking beat 'em up, but I was not expecting the amount of work and production that went into that game. And they went in there wanting to make a statement. They went in there with that game trying to say, we want to really do something with this game. And not only did they do it, I hope that this is a means for them to come out with more games that look just like that plays just like that, or be able to do more things. I know Bannon is working on a wrestling game, and I got to stick with him on that game because we need a wrestling game on the Switch. We need one that looks like the character design that he worked on and they worked on. I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. So these guys done a great job. I hope that it moves on to even further things. And not only that, I'm hoping for more DLC for the game. I'm also hoping that DuckTales will make it on the Switch. And if you haven't heard the interview, go on the interview, talk about that, because I bring up DuckTales because WayForward kind of got really famous off of the remaster of that game, because that game was so beloved for everybody. And when it came out and found out who was in charge of it, and it turned out to be virtually a flawless version of the original, but just cosmetically better, they kind of put themselves on the map with that one. That was a very interesting game. But we haven't seen that game in a while. Last time we saw it was on what was it? On a mobile, like they were talking about, which I do own, but I want to see it on the Switch. I think it's deservingly needed to be on the Switch. I know Disney owns it. It owns the rights to it, of course, and Capcom is one of the publishers of it. But, you know, if you want to know possibly how to get that game on the Switch, check out the interview that I had with those two, and they tell you pretty much what you would have to do to get it on there. And I know there's a lot of people who would like to revisit that game on the Switch as well. I mean, along with Shantae, along with River City Girls and stuff. And it's an awesome game. All of the games that WayForward do are so well done. They're the masters of revamping, you know, cult classic games and just bringing it to life in a new way. So big thanks to them, and big thanks to WayForward for their support of this show. And, you know, I look forward to seeing what no pun. I look forward to see what they're going to be doing next from there. But we got a lot of news to talk about here, and on our final stage review. Come on. You think I'm going to get out of here and not talk about Zelda Link's Awakening? That will be the final stage review of this episode. I will not say a darn thing right now. I was about to go into it, but I will not say a darn thing right now until the next segment, because there's a lot to be said. I've been playing that game since the Game Boy and every version of it. So how does this fall? Come on, you don't need a crystal ball to predict the obvious, but we're going to talk about it and enjoy talking about it in our final stage review. But let's talk about the news in the world of gaming right now. For instance, Mortal Kombat NetherRealm. They have announced a new mode, and they hyped it up on the 24th of September, making it seem like there was going to be something really big, and we're all expecting it. And it's nothing but a team raid mode. And yeah, team raiding is a thing. It's a thing for like games like Monster Hunter. You know, it's a thing for games like any of those type of games, any of those type of Monster Hunter games. Awesome. Like God Eater, stuff like. For fighting games, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all, to be honest. And the fact that, I mean, actually, it's already been in a game, because if you go in tower mode, there's a part in there that's in it where other players are going to be raiding in there. So it's like you're going to tweak down an enemy a little bit more to help out. So you kind of do it, but the difference with this one is everybody's going to be able to do it at the same time. You know, there's going to be multiple players virtually on at the same time, fighting the same enemy and just cutting it down his energy more and more, and it's faster. For some, it's going to be a little bit easier as time goes by as you're fighting this enemy, but it's not a big deal. And it's like Mortal Kombat NetherRealm is known for bringing out some really cool modes for Mortal Kombat in the past. I mean, we had the racing game, which was cool. We had the kind of the super puzzle mode, the Tetris-like mode, or the Puzzle Fighter mode version of what they did. It was like puzzle combat. A lot of Mortal Kombat fans' favorite was chess combat. That was absolutely my favorite. I love chess combat. It was so awesome. And it's where you actually play the game of chess. Or chess. I said chess. It's like when you actually play the game of chess, and then once you get connected, like a pawn gets connected to or whatever, because I'm not going to act like I even know the rules of chess like that. But once you start connecting people together, they actually get into combat and you fight to get that spot. So that was probably one of the best modes they ever did. Why didn't they bring that back? And I know they've heard people. People have been on Twitter and on social media talking about bringing that back for so long. Why not bring that back? This mode is not amusing. And I looked online on Twitter, and lo and behold, people are not too happy about it. I mean, it's not like it's a bad mode to have, but it's really like, I will put it to somebody that said on Twitter, like, who asked for this? This is not what people asked for. There are plenty of people saying like, no, we wanted such and such and such other mode. I think any other mode would have been a lot better than this mode that they actually, announced here. This was not like a big deal. So to me, this, even though it'll probably be good, to me it really is kind of a letdown, if you will. So I mean, I'm sure we'll be a part of the whole package in the kit. I mean, the Ultimate Edition or whatever like that for people who already, got the season pass, whatever like that. But honestly, it just was not. Hopefully they will change that. Hopefully, in due time we will get more, down the line when all the other DLC comes out. Maybe that's why these DLCs are taking a long time. I like all the way to 2020, like March of 2020. And again, I'm still pissed off at the fact that Spawn, the one character that I want, is the last character to come out, and that's not coming out until March 2020. You know how long that is? Jesus. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's still a great game. It's still an absolutely awesome game. Don't get it twisted. Guaranteed to probably be the fighting game of the year. I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be the fighting game of the year on many different platforms. So, it's just this was lackluster. This was very lackluster at best. So, kudos to them on that. So, the game that wasn't lackluster, I'll tell you what. I don't play any Steam games. I have a Steam account. I've never played one game on the Steam since I've gotten it. It's kind of like how I got adjusted to being on. What is that? How I got adjusted to being on Instagram. I've had an account for so long and never really used it up until recent, like a few years back, and then I got into it. So, my first christening of a game on the Steam, of all games, is none other than the KFC dating sim. I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. That was my first ever Steam game, and I don't regret it at all. This dating sim, this is real. If you thought that this wasn't real, this is KFC. I mentioned this last week. KFC has legitimately come out with their own Japanese dating sim. Like I said, Japan, one of the biggest game genres in Japan is dating sims, and they decided to play on that in America, and now we have our own in the form of Colonel Sanders that we are supposed to be falling in love with while in culinary school learning about the 11 herbs and spices. So this game, I can't deny this game. I cannot deny this game at all. It's a really cute game. The narrative in this game and the storytelling in this game I love, and the character development. The characters are over the top, as you would expect. Like, I'm loving these two characters that I'm playing, that I'm reading through right now, Ashley and Van Van. Van Van, who just for some reason has to say, I guess, every last word he says twice, which is hilarious. There's another character named Pop, which apparently is actually Bob, but is upside down with lowercase b's. So pretty much he's an idiot. There's also Sprinkles, the talking dog, who also is the culinary professor. And of course you got Colonel Sanders, who is kind of he has like a Michael Jackson magical vibe about him. Like, he comes into the scene, the light is brighter. There's sparkles all around him. He's a good-looking dude, and as you're the player, the idea is that you're supposed to fall in love with him, and also you need to also pass culinary school. So I guess I haven't played through the whole entire thing yet, but I guess the idea is like you focus on graduating from culinary school, or you focus on trying to get with Colonel Sanders. But in the midst of this, you also, Colonel Sanders also talks about that he has created this special chicken with the special secret ingredients that makes the chicken great. Of course, they're talking about the iconic, legendary 11 herbs and spices that we are, have grown to know from Kentucky, from KFC. Now, the funny part is they tease the hell out of it because they blur out what the actual like ingredient is, which I find hilarious. And the way that they put this together is awesome. Believe it or not, this is not created by a game developmental group. This is created by an actual advertisement group known as PSYOP. And it's very interesting. Very interesting that they put this together, and this is great marketing. This is phenomenal marketing. If you are into marketing and branding, and I, as a person who works in graphic design and web design and, helps to brand, people, absolutely look at what was done here. This is what happens when you actually have the funds and money to do stuff like this, to bring more attention to your brand, to bring more attention to your product. This was very well done. They got the iconic colors, the PMS colors, which is, it's not what you think. For those who are not artists, PMS colors are Pantone colors, pretty much. They're registered, colors. Yes, if you don't know, in the world of graphic design and the world of owning a business, and it becomes trademarked, so does the actual colors. So if you use a color in an actual that a company owns, and they own it, you can tell, but whether it's the color or not, because it matches the actual PMS code, which is like a 5-6 digit. It's a 6-digit code. If it matches up to that code, you're getting sued for so much money, especially depending on who that company is. So you got to be careful. Like if you own Pepsi and somebody gets your colors of blue, your particular colors of blue and red, oh, you can sue them for a hell of a lot. That, them's the law. There's so many different hues of colors that you can own, here, that, pretty much gets it together. But overall, this game is a lot of fun to play. If you own a Steam account, go out of your way to check this out. And it follows up that, KFC chicken, I actually do like the chicken. I'm still debating whether I'm a fan of that or Popeyes more. It's a given thing. I grew up on KFC. And before that, it was Geno's chicken. Before all of that, but before the Popeye thing came about, and God, nobody's talking about what is that? I forgot the one that Rick Ross owns. I forgot. Yeah, but nobody's even put that on the radar right now. But and I've tried their wings too. My wife and I tried their wings too, and it's at least the one that we went to was not that impressive. But I mean, this game, just the way they promoted it, the way they put it together, it's just genius. And if you own a Steam, go out of your way to check it out. It's actually free. That's another big benefit. It's actually free. They went all out for this game. They went all out to put this game together. It's very well done. I highly recommend you check it out. No word as to whether this will come out on other systems like PSN or the Switch or whatever like that, but I hope it does, because it needs to branch out. Now, Steam, as great as the Steam is, and it still doesn't have the radar and expansion that the other games have. And a lot of times I believe that a lot of indie companies and companies in general put their games on the Steam first before they branch out to other games. So there could be a chance that this game will eventually hit, other games like PSN, Xbox Live, or the eShop, or whatever. So, cross your fingers for this. But if you own a computer, laptop, go get a Steam account. And the good thing is, this is only, I think, 1 or 2, maybe 1 gig or something like that. It's not that big. It's another reason why I decided to play it on the Steam, because I don't normally play games on my computer, on my tower, because I don't the fear of any type of glitches or anything that's going on with that. But the Steam seems to be pretty good. And this is a very lighthearted game, and it's a simulator game. So most of it is just JPEG or PNG pictures or images or whatever like that that just keeps flashing up. It's a very easy game to go through. It's not like a 3D based game or a 2D based game that requires emulation or whatever. So it's easy, very easy to play. So go out of your way to check it out. I'm telling you, you'll have a great time. What you may not actually have a good time in is Contra Rogue Corps. Since this game was announced, and I believe it was announced at E3, I was not excited about this at all. I knew from the jump that this game, one, it didn't look anything like what I wanted to see in a Contra game, nor any of the iconic things that you remember about Contra. And it also, I mean, it had grainy, gritty, muddy looking textures. The color scheme, which just so many things that just didn't look enticing about this game. And on top of that, they had this stupid panda, which I believe they call Hungry Beast or HB or whatever like that. It's like, I don't understand who was the person responsible for this game. And did they not ever play a Contra game before? What were they thinking? And this is my mindset going in before. This was already embedded into my mind. This was my inference of the game when I first saw it. And I knew if this game didn't change down the line that it was not going to be received well. Well, the game is out this week. It is officially out now. It is available. Play at your own risk, because I was not going to. I looked at it. You could tell there were some games that you just look at like, nah, this is not going to work. This was one of them. I'm glad I wasn't wrong about this, because I've read many reviews on this game and a lot of them was not good. A lot. And especially for those who probably have played past Contra games like Super Contra, the original Contra, the arcade Contra, the Contra from the Game Boy versions. I mean, even a recent one, a sequel, like a spinoff or sequel that came, like that was based on a while back during, I believe, the PS3 era. I believe I own that game. It's pretty good. This just went total 180. This is Konami's latest contribution since letting go Hideo Kojima. I'm glad I did not say Itami. I've butchered that name so many times. Hideo Itami, formerly Hideo Itami, now back to Kenta in New Japan Pro Wrestling. WWE called him that, and it just messed my head up whenever I mentioned Kojima. But since they left, they really haven't done a lot of things. This was, I think, one of the first games they produced and brought back out since letting him go and him moving on to Sony. And we were constantly asking, okay, how about they focus not on Metal Gear, but start focusing on other games like Contra or any other games that they have, Castlevania, stuff like that. So we got Contra, and this is what they gave us. Many game media outlets took the bullet to play Konami's latest installment into one of our all-time favorite game series, and it was met with much disappointment. Some said that some of the elements of the game are good, but not nearly enough to justify the overall results. Complaints were based on the design of the game, which, much like I said, control scheme, and the uncharacteristic playstyle, which is like an over-the-top playstyle, kind of like, I forgot the old game from the PlayStation 1, where you played, topside. But it looked a lot like this. It just didn't look like a Contra game at all. And the biggest complaint is that it just didn't look like the Contra that many of us fans were enjoying back in the 80s and the 90s. It just didn't. And as a result, there's been a few disappointments, and there's been a few disappointments here in 2019. I think this will probably be up there with Jump Force. This will be rivaling Jump Force. And I thought Jump Force was going to be like the number one most disappointing game of the year. And it still may. To me, it still may, because they made it. You know what? I still would top Jump Force as probably the most disappointing game of 2019, and that is because we were made to believe that this game was going to be epic based upon what Bandai Namco has produced in the past. And then we get the game, and it far, far exceeded our expectations. I mean, like it actually way below. It was so disappointing. And they never really update. I'm pretty sure they really didn't update. And I got to look at it. I'm pretty sure they didn't update the game to the way that we want it. I have not played the game because there's nothing to do with the game after you play it. There's absolutely nothing to do. People try to justify it as much as possible because they want the game to be good. And you know how there are people that will always, like, if a game is crappy, some people know that it's crappy, but they will try just to try to justify their decision making. And the fact that they're right, they will try to defend it to the end, even though it's like, just take the fall. Just take the fall and just say that it sucked. It's nothing wrong with it. You're going to live another day. You know, it's okay to be wrong every once in a while, but some things aren't as good. No matter how you try to justify it, it's just not, you know. It's just not. You cannot be that contrarian to the point that you're going to just say that this is a good game. And Jump Force was not, and Contra Rogue Corps just looks god-awful. God-awful. So, I don't know what's going to happen with Konami from this point, but this was a major fail. I don't know who was in charge. This shouldn't have never came out. This shouldn't have never went gold or green or whatever the hell they call it before it goes. I don't understand why they thought that this was going to be any type of success. This, to me, felt like a sabotage. Like they were just throwing a great IP in a cult classic game franchise away and just said, screw it. They just want to see it all burn. That's what this game looked like when I saw it, and I seen the footage of it and everything, and I read the reviews. They didn't care. They did not care at all. So if this is the future of Konami, we wish them well. Rest in peace. So, interesting. Batman Day is come and gone, but, you know, we got a lot of great fandom for that day. You know, Fortnite had their, you know, Batman installed day. I don't know if you actually, I don't play Fortnite anymore, but I don't know if you were able to play as the Dark Knight or if you, like they did with Thanos, or does he come around and just kills everybody, which I think that would have been much better if you could try to fight Batman and he just, because of the religious belief of Batman that people think that he can beat everybody. I would just love to see him just go after everybody unnerved at all. That would have been so awesome. I would spectate that. But there is a possibility that a new Batman Arkham game may have been teased on Batman Day. WB Games Montreal showed an image on Instagram with the symbol that was shown in the Batman Arkham Origins game. I haven't played that game in so long. It actually was a pretty good game. It wasn't the caliber of what Rocksteady did. It was done by another company, but it was still okay. I actually liked their 2D side-scrolling version that was on the 3DS and the PlayStation Vita. That was really good. That was actually surprisingly really good. There was what was it? Black Mask or forgot the name of that one. Still own it too, for both systems. But the post also had a cryptic message that said, "Capture the night." On their Twitter account, WB Games Montreal followed up with a video clip that showed the same symbol morphing into other symbols. The Batman comics writer Scott Snyder briefly tweeted this past Sunday with a message that said, wait for it, #beware the court of owls, which is a secret society that is in the DC Comics universe. As well, if you watched Gotham, they had it on there as well. So this could be a thing. Snyder later on deleted it shortly after, but of course it was enough time for certain media platforms to catch it and screen print it. So that was an interesting thing. I don't mind another whole new Arkham game, but the problem is the last Arkham game that we had, we actually saw Bruce Wayne technically die. And if I remember playing that game for Arkham Knight, he revealed himself. So if this could be another Arkham Origins game, who knows? So which means it's prior to. I don't know where they're going with this, but I can never go wrong with another Batman Arkham game at all, especially if Rocksteady is working on it. So I am all for it. I am really, really all for it as well. So let's see it happen. Especially, Spider-Man has been like the major news coming out. And we know a new Spider-Man game is coming out. A sequel is guaranteed coming out. There's no way in hell they're just going to leave that hanging for one little swoop of a game or one-time only game, because that game was too great. Much to Sony Games' credit, or Sony Interactive's credit, or more Insomniac's credit, but Sony is under Sony's wing. So they did a phenomenal job. Looking forward to seeing what they get the chance to do next on that note. So, bring on more great comic book games. We need them. Definitely need them. I want to see more. I mean, we've been blessed so far. We've got Spider-Man. We had the Arkham series. We recently just got back Ultimate Alliance 3. You know, we're waiting for Avengers to come out, which is finally starting to shape up and actually starting to look good. So I'm all for it. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. So speaking of Sony, Sony PlayStation presented their latest state of play to show the following games. And since they started the state of play, which is like their take on Nintendo Direct, the absolutely great Nintendo Direct episodes that we get every so often, they've tried to make their own version, and since the beginning it has met with lackluster, lukewarm results from the fans and failings from the fans, because they haven't brought on anything that was worth seeing or surprised us with anything that was worth seeing. It was like the jump rate, the excitement rate has never been, the needle has never been high as compared to, like, say, what Nintendo does. Whatever Nintendo does, they do right with their Nintendo Direct. They have all these great surprises that are coming out that becomes viral and starts, you know, making noise on social media or whatever like that, and a lot of excitement there. And then State of Play comes out, and it's just like, how are you making PlayStation fans excited about what's happening? And I love PlayStation. I love the PlayStation, but I feel like they have not been on the ball with what they've been doing for the last few years. I mean, the only thing we got left right now is 2020, when Final Fantasy VII come out and a few other games come out, and a new Spider-Man game is announced or whatever, which I'm thinking possibly 2020 they're going to announce that another game is going to come out and leading into 2021. That's my prediction on that. And then we got The Last of Us and all the stuff. So it just not enough really excitement from the state of plays. And I'm sorry, this one was no different, but let's run down what they were announcing on this. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's no excitement coming out of me right here. No excitement. I'm looking at my PlayStation 4 and I'm like, I'm so sorry. As I got the Switch in my hand. But Sony, they presented a game called Humanity. It's one of their artsy type of games that will be coming out. It looks pretty interesting, but not enough for me. Like, I got to get this. It's coming out in 2020. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is coming out October 25th. Now, I am not a fan of any of the Call of Duty games at all. I got plenty of friends who are. I just like games that'll take me off reality. But with that said, I will not discredit this game for how beautiful, drop dead beautiful and photorealistic that this game looks like. It looks incredible. Like, you could see the skin textures like move, the pores and everything. It's so well detailed. It looks awesome. Like, put it like this: if this game were like one of the only games that look like it did, I probably would play it. But there's plenty other ones like that. But it's just for the fact that it just looks absolutely gorgeous. I cannot deny this game. So, Call of Duty fans, is coming out the 25th. So enjoy that when it comes out. Watam is coming December 29th from the creators of Katamari Damacy, developer and creator Keita Takahashi. They're coming. You know, if you're fans of the Katamari series, you're gonna pretty much enjoy this. This is another very eccentric, contemporary game that will be coming out by those guys. So get ready for that. You know, if you're fans of that, you're gonna be excited. You should be excited. Arise, a simple story reveal. I don't believe I got a release date for that, but that'll be coming out soon. Then they started talking about their VR series, which, to their credit, I am glad that they are still supporting the VR games and they're coming out because, again, I've mentioned this many times, a lot of people who've owned a PSP or a PSP Go or a PS Vita or whatever gimmick that they come out with, they come out with these gimmicks or these portable handheld systems. They will hype it up for a short time and then they will lose interest and they stop supporting it. Meanwhile, you got Nintendo, who to this day is still advertising 3DS games. Well, probably not as much anymore because I think they stopped production on it. And they moved on to the Switch Lite now. But it amazes me that Sony is still trying to come out with these things and they're not supporting it as much. So far, they're still supporting the VR. They just announced that LA Noire VR case files, which I guess is like extra new story files for the game, is out now for the PS VR. So you'll be able to play that from for Rockstar Games. So you got that. Other PRVR games on the list also include Space Channel 5, Gorn, Aspire 1, After the Fall, and Stardust Odyssey. So you got that going on. Medieval, which is coming out soon on October 25th. There is a demo that is out now, and it offers a special helmet unlock for Dan when you play the full game that arrives in October 25th. It really, like, it looks, the bad part about this game is that it looks like the PlayStation 1 or 2 version still. And it's supposed to be, I think, a new version of this game, but they're trying to make it seem like it's a big deal. And this was barely a cult classic at best, for this game. So it is what it is. And I don't know what the helmet is going to do, but there was no hype for me during this game at all. Civilization 6 coming to the PS4 on November 22nd, and on the Xbox, by the way. It will be on the Xbox and guaranteed on PC. I know that for a fact because shout out to my brother-in-law Carl. He when I first 14 years ago when I first got married to my wife, I remember when I used to stay there for Christmas, he got his hands on Civilization, one of the Civilization games. No lie, went to bed I think about 10, 11 o'clock, and woke up I think 8 o'clock in the morning. The dude was still playing that game. I was like, wow, that is fandom. And I knew he's not like a gamer like that, but for Civilization, he was so engulfed in that game. You got to give credit to that. That game is, for some people, is very, very addictive. So I won't tell him, but it's coming because he's in Australia right now, or Germany right now. He's in Germany right now, and he has his girlfriend, and I want him to still be in a relationship. So it is coming out on November 22nd. For the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, for those who own that as well, stay tuned. Limited edition Death Stranding PS4 coming out on the release of the game. It's a PlayStation Pro edition, which means it has a 1 terabyte of memory in there, and a really cool translucent yellow controller, which mimics the little component that it has, the little baby that Norman Reedus carries around, which is really creepy. But hey, it's Hideo Kojima. What can you expect? I really hope that this game is successful and that we truly understand what the hell is going on in that game, because every time they show clips of the game, it's still an enigma of what the hell is going on. What's your purpose? What's Norman Reedus' purpose? What the hell is he going to be doing? Is he going to have any powers? I hope that this game is successful. I really do, because I need them to stick it to Konami for the way they've been doing things. I mean, honestly. So we will see. For PlayStation Plus owners, that was the alert from the Amazon for the Amazon name that I will not mention. But I digress. For PlayStation Plus owners, you will be able to play the newest free game this month, and that is The Last of Us, the original Last of Us, the first one, but the remastered version, and MLB 19, the show, free for the month of October. Now, I didn't realize this, but MLB 19, I may actually check that game out. I have a PS Plus account, and I haven't got a chance to check out any of the free games that they have, but I saw the creative suite for that game, and it looks absolutely incredible. So just for that reason, I say it all the time, I'm a big fan of games with creative suites, because I'm a designer and artist developer, so I like to play around and create really cool things with different elements and different mediums. And I like the amount of detail that went into this game, so I may check it out just for that alone before the month's due, and check it out there. But speaking of The Last of Us, the last clip that they showed was, in fact, The Last of Us 2. Again, much like Call of Duty, this game looked absolutely incredible. I never played the first Last of Us game. I never had an actual an excitement to play that game, if you will. And with that said, and that goes for Uncharted too. People have screamed Uncharted to the moon, and I just, Nathan Drake looks cool, but I haven't been really into games like that since Tomb Raider. Honestly, I really haven't. Now, granted, if Uncharted actually did a crossover with Tomb Raider, I would play that instantly, because I would love to see the two pair up and team up together to you really have an adventure. I don't understand why that hasn't been thought. And we're doing crossovers like crazy now in games, so why not that? That would be absolutely fantastic. And they really want to make money, man, that will be awesome. But The Last of Us 2 came. The trailer looks absolutely great. I love the story that's happening in the game. The date is revealed for February 2020, so they now have a release date for it, so that's awesome. And I guess we'll see. But overall, the state of play was so lackluster. I had no excitement for it. And of course, I own a PlayStation 4. I want to see new games for the PlayStation 4. I just haven't been excited for it yet. And a lot of the games that are on PlayStation 4 are now on a Switch that I'm playing, so it's like, and I get it in the palm of my hands. Why? I need something. I need something. In WWE 2K20, it will not be one of them, at least not yet. Because I need to know. I'm going to let the pawns go first with that one. No Ukes. Look, say what y'all will about Ukes, but Ukes, I thought, has done a pretty damn good job. They've gotten better over the years with their games. But the fact of Ukes not working with 2K games anymore, it's like you took the heart out. What is going to happen next? So maybe they'll succeed, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. But also, we hope that AEW is going to acquire, Ukes. I feel like it's a no-brainer. Nick Jackson did say they are working on making a video game, so hopefully that is the means for Ukes to be a part of that as well. So we'll see. We will see, because that will definitely put up in a rivalry between the two. So we will see. Folks, that will do it for this portion of the show. We're going to take a break, come back, go to our final stage review of Zelda Link's Awakening, and just celebrate and bask in its glory. We'll do that right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dak Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto.
This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our ACMG content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things ACMG.
Talk Time Live.
Folks, we are back with our final stage review, and it is none other than Link's Awakening, the recent incarnation of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. This, I don't know, this game, well, before I do that, let me give a big shout out to our ACMG member, Charles Fisher, who actually gave me the info, who shot out the info on our ACMG Facebook group of the Mortal Kombat situation with the new mode. I was unaware of it, and this morning he popped up with it, and got a chance to talk about it there. So, shout out to him and thank him for that. But moving on to the actual game, the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, I've played this game since the original Game Boy. the original Game Boy. I mean, dating back to what, 90? God, what was it? Like 1993 is when the original game premiered. Believe June 6th of 1993, if I'm correct, is when that game released. And that was like, I think, in the third year of the Game Boy, because the Game Boy probably came out, I think, in 1990. I could be wrong. I believe it came out probably around that time. Link's Awakening came out shortly after that. A very good, I mean, phenomenal game that was at the time. So great that they brought it back out in the Game Boy Color version. Got it then. Still enjoyed it. Played it again. It's one of the only Zelda games that I've beaten at the time, because I didn't beat the original game. I never played Legend of Zelda. No, I played Legend of Zelda 2, but never desired to beat the game. It was just too quirky and weird. But, you know, it was what it was. Talk about remakes. They need to remake that one. And then, you know, some other games, you know, Link to the Past, I think I may have beaten once. Of course, Breath of the Wild, absolutely beat that. I never beat the 64 versions, Ocarina of Time and, you know, Twilight, the Twilight version and all those other ones. I never really got into the Zelda series like that, but every once in a while, there's one that I would jump on, and the Four Swords I beat. I did play and beat that game, so that was a fun game too. But every once in a while, and the one for the 3DS that was a sequel to A Link to the Past, I believe I've beaten as well. That was a very fun game. But I don't play and beat them all. And seldomly I get a chance to play, you know, any of the Zelda games. I jump on it. Breath of the Wild is still one of my absolute top favorites, but I got to second that to Link's Awakening, which, after thinking about it, I'm like, I've played so many variations of this game. There's no way in hell I can say that this is not nearly at least a second play, like a number 2 on my list of best Zelda games ever. This game must be really near and dear to Nintendo's heart because, and the makers, you know, Miyamoto, because they keep making this game. They've made it the first time for the Game Boy Color. Super NES version came out shortly after, which was also great, and I played and owned that game many times. And now, it's back again for the modern era. Like, they have made so many different titles, yet Link's Awakening keeps coming back. It is something about this game and the aura about this game that makes it so great. It's not just the fact that the game is so great, it's the music, it's the characters, it's the cameo appearances, so many things that just goes into this game. This game has also had rave reviews over the years, no matter which version that you're talking about, and awards, awards galore, and it has its place in the 2009 Guinness Book of Records, or Guinness World Records, as one of the most influential games of all time. It's hard to deny. This latest entry is no different. In fact, this version of Link's Awakening is bigger and better than ever, and here's why. With the power of the Nintendo Switch, you have the luxury to not only play and experience the game with new and outstanding cosmetic visual design, but it now has like some new features that the previous games didn't even have. So it just gives you a reason to want to come back again. Not that we needed those new features to do it, because the game itself is just so much fun to play. So many great things about this game that's so well to play. But the new features include Dungeon Builder, which all through the game you'll come across some chamber stones that will allow you to go to a character named Damper the Gravedigger, which many have seen in Ocarina of Time. As he helps you create a new dungeon, like a whole new dungeon as well. So, now take note, this dungeon builder is nowhere near the complexity and depth of Mario Maker, but I have reason to believe, and I think others have reason to believe too, that this may be a prelude to things to come for the Zelda series. Maybe even seeing a Zelda Maker, of our own. It just seems inevitable in this case. So, you also have the ability to keep track of your most important landmarks in the game using pins, kind of like you did with Breath of the Wild, to mark areas and that you want to remember. You do need it. You will need it. There's some areas that you kind of forget after a while because you're just constantly, exploring areas, and you got to mark them, especially the fairy, caves. You really want to mark those and make sure that you remember where they are. So that's a great thing to have. The controls feel as smooth as ever before. Now, granted, I had this conversation with one of our A.C.M.G members about the crane mode, which a lot of people, for some reason, feel like that it's harder this time. I felt that the crane mode was a lot easier. I don't know. I am an artist, so which means a lot of times perspective plays a factor in my ability to do things. And I have a kinesthetic ability as well, as a accuracy level that's a little, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but maybe I've seen some things and seen it a different way than other people have. So the member in our A.C.M.G group felt it was harder. And I'm like, no, if you really focus and look at it, it's timing. Now, you got to take note that the actual game is a lot faster in frame rate than it was before. And you're working with 3D, you're working with a 3D design as opposed to a retro 2D sprite design, which is not going to be as fast. This one is going to be a little faster. You got to take account for that. But the timing is also the key. If you don't jump at it the first hand, you got to be patient. You got to look at how it moves. You got to look at the timing of how it moves in accordance to how your crane moves. Once you figure that out, it's easy math. And once I figured that out, I was able to get everything that I was able to get. So to me, I felt it was a lot easier to pinpoint. It's all about timing and perspective. That's pretty much it with that one. But again, the controls to me, I felt was more fluid than ever. You got to do a lot of great things. If you want to combo some things around, like use the bombs and the arrows to shoot bomb arrows, it was very easy to pull off this time around. So that was a lot of fun. The game finally has fairy battles too, which wasn't in the original versions of the games too. They were a great help by the end. Trust me. The stories, the story of fairies, when you are low on energy, it really helps out. It really, really helps out. Note that the fairies don't restore all of your energy, so use that wisely. If you haven't played this game yet, I'm just telling you now. It's a great thing to have, but during some of the boss battles, you want to make sure that when you get to a certain low level, especially when you start gaining more heart HPs, that you time when you use those fairy bottles. Because if you wait too long, it'll just, it may be to your disadvantage from that point. So you have that. There also the use of the seashell sensor, which is a new thing too. You were able to find seashells randomly throughout the area, but now you got the sensor, which helps you greatly. And especially now that you have the Rumble Pack for the Switch, it really pops up out of nowhere if you're walking around and you have the sensor. Now you gain all this as the more, much like before, the more seashells that you gain more items and abilities when you go to the Seashell Mansion and, and get new items. One of them is the Seashell, God, say that 5 more times, sensor, or the shell sensor. Let's just say the shell sensor, which helps you greatly through it. And it also helps you get more shells to get the level 2 sword, which is always a great thing. The level 2 sword I absolutely love because it allows you, when you have full energy, you can shoot out beams of light to take out members. And when you have the actual suit, the suit that lets you, the red suit, which lets you have more attack power. I always get the red suit. I never get the blue. It definitely allows you to get more attack power, and just one hit can take out a person easily. And in fact, that's the other thing that was great about this game. This game wasn't about challenge. It was about enjoyment. It was about celebration. The game was not hard at all. There were some games, if you just swat these enemies as fast as possible, you could take them out way faster than you do if you do the patterns. I've realized that in this game. So do take note on that one. This game is not about challenge, it's about enjoyment and celebration of this game. Point blank. So that's the other reason why I really enjoyed this as well. The other thing that was in here is like everything else was just virtually the same. And I'm saying this because I played the Game Boy version thoroughly. I played the other versions thoroughly and matched them up. Just from scene to scene, place to place, dungeon to dungeon, it just came to life in a new way. It is just all, it's just amazing to see what they've done with this game and how they brought it to life. I mean, it was absolutely great. This game was so enjoyable to play, and everything else was great too, including like the cosmetic upgrades, the fun cameo appearances from Super Mario Brothers characters, which is awesome. Like all those were here too. The Shy Guys, the Goombas, seeing Princess Peach as a catfish type of situation, much like you did with the other versions. It was just, all of it is there. Seeing, what's his name from the boss character, the Toad boss character, I forgot his name, from Super Mario 2 when he does the music for you. All of it is there. Every one of it is there. It is just a great game. Fairly easy to play. Absolutely great to enjoy for everybody. It's as enjoyable as ever. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening may just have become a contender for Game of the Year. Not sure if it will actually win, but it should damn sure be nominated. We got games like other games out there for the PlayStation, and I mean, it's compatible and is able to be competed with games that are in the PlayStation and the Xbox as well, and Steam. It's that damn good. The music is phenomenal. Everything that you remember, Ballad of the Windfish, it's just as beautiful as ever. And it's just awesome. I absolutely love it. The game provides everything you loved about the previous installments and more. No Zelda title has received this many remakes before, and it's hard not to see why. With the definite success of this game, my actual only hope, is that this leads to 2 new possible games in the future. One, I mentioned it before, the Zelda Dungeon Maker, and hell, I want to see a Super Mario 2 remake. That game was another really fun game. I would love to see a Super Mario remake game and just, maybe add another 2 bells and whistles, whatever, but make everything virtually the same. That game doesn't get talked about enough, and that was a great game as well. So, kudos to Nintendo for yet again creating another masterpiece in Link's Awakening that we will remember for years. I don't know where they're going to go with this. Can this be the last remake, or are they going to see another? Who knows? Who knows what the hell is going to happen? But if it is all for those reasons and more that I give this game an absolute grade of A+. There's absolutely no way in hell. This game was so much fun. If you're a Zelda fan, even if you're not a Zelda fan, I would say also that if you were not a Zelda fan or if you never played a Zelda game before, this should be your first game to play. Not Breath of the Wild. Link's Awakening should absolutely be your very first Zelda game to play, and play everything else from this point on. Because this also, they made this game so enjoyable and so much fun to play and so easy to play that anybody can go in there and really find out why this game is so legendary throughout the years. And it's not just a name. You could go in, love what you felt in this game, love the music, love the characters, love everything. Notice that the Super Mario influence in there, because 9 chances out of 10 you played a Mario game before, even if you didn't play a Zelda game before. And it will make you want to go into more games in the genre, in the franchise. Because this is kind of like the same way when I started playing Konio-kun games, and I started realizing how big of a universe this thing was, and I started exploring it and started playing the import games and everything like that, and just seeing how much this game has expanded into a universe full of characters and everything, and really had a lot of respect for this game. Zelda, same thing, but this should be the intro game for everybody who has not played a Zelda game. Bar none. You'll absolutely enjoy it from here. So definitely do that. And I want to give another note and a shout out. If you notice, you've been hearing nothing but Zelda music here on this episode of Select Start, and actually virtually every episode of Talk Time Live since the beginning. And that is because of the good people and my good neighbor at Game Chops. If you love the Zelda, if you're a Zelda fan and you love the music in this and many other Zelda titles, go out of your way to check out the Zelda theme EPs from Game Chops, produced by my good man DJ Cutman, my neighbor, my good dude. You know him for his chiptunes, all of his chiptune tracks that he does, and he is fully endorsed by Xavier Woods of the New Day. WWE fans know him. You can't go wrong. This dude is awesome. He is awesome. I have had the chance to meet him ages ago. We've been clicking ever since. Now he lives in my neighborhood, and we collect even more. And he is graciously giving me music to play on this show, and I can't thank him enough. And this was the perfect time to play all freaking music from some of his best. Meow Meow and Bow Wow was one of the first albums I ever got a chance to listen to from him at his album release party, and we clicked since then. I've been a fan of his music ever since. So if you love what you're hearing on this episode and all of the other episodes of Talk Time Live, go out of your way, go to music.com. Go to music.gamechops.com and check out all of his Zelda tracks, such as Meow Meow and Bow Wow, based on the music inspired by Link's Awakening. You got Bago and the Riverman. You got Zelda and Chill. You got the Triforce of Bass, which is like remixes of the originals. And other EPs from some of your favorite classic games as well. He does all chiptune games from some of the best retro games out there ever. Not just Nintendo, Sega as well, and a few others. Go out of there. Again, music.gamechops.com is the place you want to be. Last thing I want to point out, games to look out this week. Shout out to another good man that I had a chance to, be friends with over the years, and he's representing out in Japan today, right now, available right now on the eShop, believe on PlayStation Network as well. The new addition to the Zora Gun Vault series, entitled Gun Vault Chronicles Luminous Avengers 9. He's been on the show to talk about that game before. Maybe I'll have him on again. Maybe we can get him back on again. He's in Japan. He's promoting this like crazy. If you're an A.C.M.G member, or if you're just a member, just a gamer in general, if you played a Zora Gun Vault series, you'll love it. It's out today. Get it. It's $14.99 out on eShop. Out on, PlayStation Network. I'm not sure about Xbox, but it's a game you definitely want. If you're a 2D side-scrolling retro geek, this is for you. Absolutely. And you love those Mega Man style games, this is the game for you. And get all of them. They're all great. They're absolutely all great. I've given great reviews for them. This one will be no different when I review it soon. So definitely go out of your way to check it out. Darksiders 2, the Definitive Edition, is out today as well. This is the second one. I guess all of the Darksiders games are going to be coming out now. I got the first one. Really love the first one on the Switch. The second one is out today on the Switch for Switch owners who never got a chance to play it or are fans of the game but want to take it on the road. It's out today, $29.99. Go out of your way to check it out. The last game I'm going to mention is I am very much looking forward to this game. We just talked about great beat-em-up games like River City Girls. Well, this one looks like it's going to be even just as epic. Maybe even more, who knows? But Fight and Rage. I saw this trailer on the eShop, and I was like, I saw the artwork first, and I'm always attracted to the artwork first before I get in, and I get in hoping that the artwork will somewhat match the actual, the game design and the character design will somewhat match the game art. It not only does it, it's more. This deep side-scrolling beat-em-up adventure with several endings, explosive combo systems, lots of unlockables, and a versus mode comes out today at 12 noon today, or probably, if you're listening to this, is out now for $19.99 on the eShop. I'm not sure if it's on a PSN, but it probably will be on a PSN today. So go out of your way to check those out and much more. This Sunday, no show. I'm going to the in-laws this weekend. I'm going to spend time. I'm going to Amish country. So I am not going to be having a show this week. So unfortunately not. But you got this show, and you have the exclusive with Way Forward about River City Girls. So go out of your way to check it out. And thank you again to the people of Way Forward and Adam and Bannon for coming on to the show again. Those guys were awesome. And please keep up the great work. I'd love to hear about this. If you're a game designer, if you're an artist, if you're an upcoming actor, or a struggling actor, if you will, this is why you should listen to Talk Time Live. All of our exclusive interviews are with people in the business who are doing it, what you want to do, and they give you the real on how it's done. And I make sure that we talk about those situations because I'm aware that we have listeners that want to listen, that want to learn, to be, and want to be inspired by these people who worked their ass off, who had to struggle, who had to, make ends meet to get to where they are now. It's real. And I want that reality to hit people. So go to TalkTimeLive.com. Go to the exclusive page. Check out all of the interviews that I've had in the past from some of the greats in all things anime, comics, movies, and games. Learn from them. Cherish them. Thank them when you see them because of the interviews that they brought here today. And I'm telling you, you'll learn from a lot. I'm thinking like Stephanie Sheh, the voice of Sailor Moon, Orihime, she kept it real. She kept it really real on her interview with us here. Other interviews, Jeff Thorne kept it really real. You want to listen to guys like that. And it's going to keep coming because I just got in contact, and another game developer that we had on the show before will be returning on the show. Desmond Wong from the Gentle Bros will be returning to Talk Time Live very soon to talk about the upcoming sequel that I've been waiting for, and that is Cat Quest 2. We had him on the show before. He's from Singapore, and so he's going to be calling all the way from Singapore to talk about this game. And if you love the first game, this second game looks absolutely fantastic. I was very blown away by what they did with this game. It looks very beautiful. It's a game that separates itself from all others in a way that, we've never got a chance to play before. It's just so awesome. I can't wait. And they're adding a dog character to this one, too. So I'm really looking forward to what this one has to offer in terms of depth and, creativity and RPG elements and whatnot. This is just absolutely awesome. Stay tuned for that. Again, thank you for listening and supporting this. All of those people on Twitter, all those people on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, YouTube. I'm on there too. You can find me at Dex J Martin Chiefs. Some way, somehow, I'm going to change that. And I don't normally freak with YouTube like that, but all of my episodes do upload them on my YouTube page. So it's at Dex J Martin Chiefs. You can follow me on Instagram at DexXavier_Josiah as well. You need to follow up on any of that I have. You could go to @TalkTimeLive.com. on Facebook to check it out there. If you want to be a member of the A.C.M.G. Facebook group, go to facebook.com/groups/ACMG1. I'm telling you now, if you don't have an account that's 5 years or older, if you're not interacting with your page like normal people do, you're not getting in. I keep the great people at A.C.M.G. safe from solicitors, from trolling, all of that stuff, so we can have an enjoyable environment. We need a refuge from all of the things that's going on in the world. A.C.M.G. is one of those places. So please, let's keep it real. Let's keep a community there. So, folks, again, thank you so much. That'll do it for this episode, and stay tuned for next week as I will be reviewing. I believe the Gunvolt Chronicles I will review, as well as Fighting Rage. Those are my 2 pointers right there. So stay tuned for that and much more to come. Folks, that will do it. On behalf of myself, this is Dax Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here. Take care and have a great week. Music for this episode is provided by Game Chops. Check out these great chiptune tracks and more at music.gamechops.com.